an incredible blueprint for escaping that whole 9-to-5 grind, for building a life of actual total freedom and doing it through entrepreneurship. So let me ask you something, and this comes straight from the book. Does any of this sound familiar? That endless 9-to-5 grind, that pit in your stomach on a Sunday night, just living for the weekend so you can pay the bills. The whole idea here is that you are absolutely not born to be stuck in this cycle. So where does all this come from? Well, this whole explainer is based on the best-selling book Unscripted by MJ DeMarco. And his core idea is, well, it's pretty wild. He says there's this invisible system. He calls it the script. And it has basically hijacked modern life. It's locking all of us into these unfulfilling roles. And the crazy part is, most of us don't even realize it's happening. Okay, so before we can talk about escaping, we've got to understand the problem, right? What exactly is this invisible prison that he's calling the script? Here's the deal. Think of the script as this implied social contract, this unspoken deal that society offers all of us. You know the one. Go to school, get that good job, load up on debt for the house and the car, and what do you get in return? A life of quiet, predictable servitude. Yeah, it might be a gilded cage, all shiny and comfortable, but let's be real, it's still a cage. And look, the author, he does not pull any punches. He calls this whole thing temporal prostitution, which is a heavy term, but think about it. It's the act of trading away your single most valuable asset, your time, for money. I mean, as it says right here, you're trading 50 years of your life, Monday through Friday, for a promise of freedom that might only show up way, way down the road, in the twilight of your life. This image just nails it, doesn't it? This is exactly what the script does. It pushes every single person into the exact same mold. It demands conformity. It casts you in a role that's already been written for you, a role that, by the way, benefits the system, not necessarily you. But here's the good news. There is another way. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's not the easy path. It means choosing some unpleasant truths over comfortable lies. And that is the unscripted path. I absolutely love this cartoon from the book. I mean, it just frames the choice so perfectly, doesn't it? Look at that long, crowded line. That's everyone queuing up for the comforting lies of the scripted life. And then there's that other line, the short one. That's for the unpleasant truths. That's the unscripted path. It really is the road less traveled, and for a very good reason. And this is where you really see the huge difference in mindset. On the one hand, you have the scripted life. You're basically a passenger on a conveyor belt, just going where it takes you, living for the weekend, hoping to retire old. But on the other hand, you've got the unscripted life. You're not a passenger. You're the one rewriting the rules, creating the systems. You're not living for the weekend. You're living for every day with the goal of retiring young. It's a total game changer. This quote, "This is what gets right to the heart of the matter. Going unscripted isn't about making a few small changes here and there. It's not just about a paradigm shift. It's about having that moment where you realize, as the author so bluntly puts it, that the whole paradigm is, well, you can read it. It's about rejecting the entire game and deciding to create your own." Okay, so if you're sitting there thinking, I'm ready, I want to reject this old system, the big question is, how do you actually do it? Well, that's what we're getting into next. This is the author's actual framework for your escape. And there it is. Now, I know what you're thinking. It looks a little complex, right? But stick with me. This is the blueprint. It's called the Unscripted Entrepreneurial Framework, or TUNE for short. The author basically presents this as the system, the secret weapon you need to actually stand a chance against the script, which is so deeply ingrained in our society. So let's break this thing down. So this whole framework, it's built on 5 core pillars. First up, you have to tackle your own beliefs, biases, and bullshit. This is all about deprogramming yourself from a lifetime of scripted thinking. Then you've got to find your meaning and purpose. That's your why, the thing that's going to keep you going when it gets tough. The third pillar is the engine itself, fast lane entrepreneurship. Fourth is kinetic execution, which is all about taking massive action and putting that engine into motion. And finally, you have the 4 disciplines to keep everything on track. All right, let's zoom in on one of these because it's absolutely critical. I'm talking about fast lane entrepreneurship. Now, the key idea here is that this isn't about just starting any old business. No, this is about building something the author calls a productocracy.
So, a productocracy, what in the world is that? Well, in a world that's totally obsessed with marketing hacks, sales funnels, and all that noise, this idea is actually radically simple. It's a business where the best product or service wins. That's it, period. The whole focus shifts from how do I sell more to how do I serve better? Because when you create something with undeniable value, the market will literally come to you. It's this amazing idea of serving other people selflessly in order to achieve your own quote-unquote selfish goal of total freedom. So, let's say you do all this. You follow the framework, you build this incredible value-driven business. But what's it all for? What's the end game? Well, that's what we're talking about next. This is what you're actually fighting for, the 5 freedoms. All right, now the book calls the ultimate goal the state of FU. And look, before you jump to conclusions, it's not about being a jerk or being arrogant, not at all. It's about having pure, unadulterated autonomy. It's the power to make your life's decisions based on what you want, not what you're obligated to do. It is, quite simply, the power of absolute choice. And this ultimate state of choice, it's built on these 5 very specific freedoms. First, freedom from work, from having to trade your time for money. Second, freedom from scarcity, from constantly worrying about money. Third, freedom from what the author calls hyper-realistic influence, from being manipulated by the world around you. Fourth, freedom from hope and dependence on a single paycheck or a fickle market. And finally, and maybe most importantly, freedom from the ordinary. I think this quote just captures that feeling perfectly, especially that first freedom. Just take a second and imagine that. Imagine a life where work is a choice you make, not a necessity for survival. Your entire perspective on life would change, right? The entire world really does become your playground. And all of this, it brings us to the final destination of this whole journey. This is it. Welcome to that state of ultimate freedom, where the tables have completely 100% turned in your favor. You live life, it no longer lives you. Because at the end of the day, that's what this all boils down to. The unscripted path, it's not just about making a lot of money. That's a side effect. It's really about reclaiming your personal sovereignty. It's about owning your time, owning your choices, and truly owning your own life. And this image, this says it all, doesn't it? This is the peak. This is the pinnacle of the whole Unscripted journey. It's not just about money in the bank. It's about total, absolute freedom. It's you in the driver's seat of your own life, finally. And so we're left with this one last powerful question. The author's whole point is that you are the CEO of your life. The life you have right now is the direct result of the choices you've made up to this point. So the real question isn't, can I rewrite my script? The real question is, will you?